Hi everybody, my name is Sarah Wyman Grover, and I'm a writer and tarot enthusiast. I write under the name S.L. Wyman. Currently working on my first book, The Obsidian Gate, which at some point we'll do a little bit of a video on, but either way, welcome to S.L. Wyman's Rock and Writing. This is a channel where I do all sorts of videos on tarot, books, music, and witchy and nerdy stuff in general. This is going to be the second video in a series regarding the Starman Tarot that I am leading a study on Abundant Life Tarot. Kim, who is the admin there, has been kind enough to allow me to do this. So please, if you are kind of watching this, please be kind enough to show her some love too. And give her some likes, subscribes, shares, and comments, and all that good stuff that helps keep the channel going. Would be much appreciated. So this week has been very busy, so I was not able to do the research that I wanted to on the deck itself, but there will be a video about the deck creator and his process and just kind of a general overview of the deck itself. One of the videos I post will be about that. Also, within the next week or two, I will be scheduling out or trying to figure out a good day to do the first live kind of premiere or, live, however we want to do that. I should have that figured out within this couple of days. Now I'll get you all the details so we can all hook up and maybe share our thoughts on this video thus far in real time, which will be lots of fun, be it via chat, most likely be by Facebook rooms. Kim has given her blessings to that, so I will be doing the research I need to do to make sure that runs as smoothly as possible. But with that little bit out of the way, without any further ado, let's get on to the two cards that I'm going to discuss today. And we are hitting the major ladies of this first part of the suit here, starting with the High Priestess. Excuse me. Okay, we got a little bit of glare. Maybe I have to pull it back a little bit. There we go. I know she might be a little hard to see, so I apologize. My lighting is what my lighting is right now. I'll give you a few seconds just to kind of look at her, and then we'll launch into my thoughts here. Very first thing I noticed, which was really interesting to me, was all the greenery and all just the green in general. I honestly expected this to be more for the Empress, to be honest. I expected a whole lot more green on that card. You'll see what I mean when we get to her, but either way, there's a lot to take in here, right? Because there is just life everywhere in this card. I mean, there is so much heart chakra energy, all of that green, and then third eye and throat chakra, the blues, the violets, the purples, and just that regal gold for, the solar plexus, and also kind of just for royalty in general. I mean, she's pretty stunning, but like I said, I'll see if we can get up way up close. There's too much of a glare, I think. It's a dang shame because there's so much detail in this card. I was hoping to kind of show you a little more of that and talk a little more about it. You are going to see me referring to some notes, but that's only because there's a lot here, right? And again, I already mentioned like the green and the gold, lots of heart and crown energy going on here, and lots of blues and purples, but not nearly as much blue and purple as I was expecting. So that's kind of a neat subversion of expectations there, because I was expecting those to be kind of the main color of this card, and I was expecting more of the pinks and the greens and the golds to be more the Empress shtick, but that's not quite how it worked out. But either way, I find this is a very interesting High Priestess because she's sitting there with all that growth and abundance around her, and I think it's kind of interesting to have such a grounded High Priestess, because usually you see that card in any other deck, it's going to be very esoteric, very out there, very hard to get to, because that's just kind of how the High Priestess is. And this is kind of an interesting twist on that, because, she's made this her home. It's a quiet but powerful, just kind of space that she's created for herself. And the quote from the book ordering is, I offer up the mysteries of life. And that is the High Priestess that really, kind of gets across that energy of, well, sit down, let's talk this out and see what happens kind of thing, which is really interesting. It's almost like she's inviting, but almost not. She's almost a little intimidating to approach, but does have that sense, still kind of have that sense of, let's sit and talk and kind of see what kind of wisdom it is you're actually seeking here, which is really interesting. And I like that this card is kind of hinting that you don't have to be, when you're an intellectual, you don't have to be disconnected from nature. You can still be just as connected to the natural world and your natural self as you want, and the internal part of yourself that's connected to nature and to living things. You can still be connected by that, and at the same time still be accessing your intuition and still be connected to a more cerebral, intellectual, higher wavelength, right? They don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive, which I think is really cool, because she's very esoteric, but she's learning from it, right? She's not just out there in the ether. She's living it. She's experiencing it, right? And what I think she's there is, she's like, okay, let's take a journey into your inner self and look at what's hidden and what's obvious, and let's kind of look at the difference, and let's look at why this thing is more hidden. I think this High Priestess just comes across as she's liking to ask why a lot more. Most other priestesses leave you to figure it out, but she's the one who's going to sit there and be like, okay, well, let's find out why. Because she wants to know all about it, right? And she also doesn't seem to be a High Priestess that messes around. She'll let you know when you're not tapping into your intuition the way you should be. And she's warning you not to sink into obscurity and mundanity, and to, remember that you're unique. You are star stuff. So why be ordinary? There's no reason for that, right? And she's basically giving you a way to reach out and, basically explore the interesting, the unusual, because normal is boring and mundanity is kind of boring. It can be a break, and a much needed one, but the unusual and the unique and the mysterious is where it's at, and that's all about her energy. So definitely something to consider there. And then the other card we will talk about is the Empress. And I'm going to be posting pictures of these. I'm posting this up on the study group, so definitely welcome hearing everybody's thoughts and opinions. This is just kind of my overview of what I'm thinking as I'm running through this deck. So let's take a look at the image for the Empress, right? First of all, she's stunning. Real blend of races and cultures and just everything, right? And look at all the pink. Look at all that violet, that crown energy, and that royal gold. The yellow for the solar plexus she's got her on her. There's some teal for heart if that's the color you want to associate with it. You could also associate it with blue for throat chakra. She's also got a little tiny bit of green right over her heart chakra, which is interesting and really cool. And that pink and gold really does, just catch your eye. And of course, the floral just harkens back to your typical Empress, right? Now, like every card thus far, there has been, other than the Starman, there has been some small unsettling detail. And there's a couple in this one still, and I'll kind of point them out, and we'll walk through them because I find them interesting. Now, first thing that I found a little, not unsettling, but interesting, is the fact that if you look, she's got her hands out. But what the artist has done is he's taken and depicted her breasts, her chest, as two sunflowers, and the milk is pouring out of the center of those sunflowers and into her outstretched hand, and from that down forward, right? Which again kind of goes back to a lot of the typical symbology of the Empress without being, right on the nose with having her be pregnant, which, thank goodness, let's not do that. You also can see her foot right here. I know it's hard to see, but you can see it kind of literally digging into the earth, digging into all of that prosperity and abundance and just nerve connections of the earth, really right into that, tapping into that third eye and then going right down in through the earth for it. And up here we have the Gilded Cage, which kind of remind you, don't let yourself be put in a corner, because that's not going to help you evolve. That's not going to help you reach that higher level. And we come to the second really kind of disturbing detail. If you see right here, we have two fetuses. And you have lightning bolts that are literally connected to the wall, the rock wall behind her, which is connected to where her feet's coming in, and you see electricity shooting out. Kind of a weird, it gave me really weird Mary Shelley Frankenstein vibes. Don't ask me why, but it did. It was a little unsettling. For it. And then, of course, the quote was, "I fully embrace life's rich fecundity." I'm not a fan of that word. I don't like the way it sounds, and I don't like the connotations of it, so that was a little uncomfortable. But at the same point, maybe we're not supposed to be 100% comfortable, because Mother Nature is and can be very dominating and very scary. We are not in control of her. And she most definitely can remind you of that very quickly if she wants to. So I suppose that's one little way to look at that is, just reminding you that Mother Nature's beautiful, but she also is scary as heck sometimes. Another thing I noticed that's just kind of interesting, again, you're probably not going to be able to see it just because of the way this shows up and how intricate the details are. But around where my thumb is, there's some of that gold scrolling that's in the background of all these cards. And that one, this one in particular on that side, was kind of in my head. The shape reminded me a little bit of the shape you see of Kokopelli, that Native American god, the flute dancer, who is a bit of a, very much attuned with the rhythm of the earth and, with kind of almost a carefree thing there, I guess. But what I'm really getting from this is just that, push to get out there, experience life. Don't, curtail and chain your experiences to a limited palette. Don't just, if you can get out of your own hometown and experience different forms of nature, different places, the experience is going to enrich you a lot more. And you're going to be much more in touch with the earth itself and with that vibe and that rhythm, which is, kind of something that I feel like we would all want to do, is to be able to reach out and work with that energy, because we're living on it. We're in it. We're part of it. We are walking across her body every day. We're a part of her every day. So getting in touch with Mother Nature is not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to remember to give her the proper respect she's due. So that, short as this video may be, for better or for worse, that is my analysis of these two cards. It's kind of connecting with two different sides, but both sides are still trying to connect you back to that sacred feminine, the divine feminine, Mother Earth, that nature energy, however you choose to express that. It's calling you to connect to it, because we're all a part of it. and we all have to take responsibility for our part to take care of it. Because we may not be around forever, and the Earth is going to outlast us, but the Earth, it can potentially be just as finite as we are. It's because she got a longer lifespan. So we gotta do our part. There, well, soapbox aside. I'm really enjoying looking into this with you guys. I know some of these videos might feel a little more flatline than my normal energetic take on things, but hopefully you're still getting some value out of it. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying this exploration of this tarot deck, and I'm really hoping that you guys are also maybe opening your eyes up to, looking at it in a different way. Obviously, please watch walkthroughs, if you're going to consider buying a deck. I always encourage purchase responsibly, all that wonderful stuff. But hopefully I've given you a little avenue into seeing that, this is a very deep and interesting deck, and hopefully maybe giving you enough to chew on a little bit, so that even if it winds up not being something you want to add to your collection or something that doesn't speak to you, at least there's something there for you to maybe ponder, and maybe something you can add with your interpretations to other cards. So with that, I appreciate you guys. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Any interaction is much appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's watched these videos and helped keep things going so far. If you like to see, or you want to see more, please feel free to hit like, subscribe, share, comment. If you choose to subscribe, make sure you're checking for the little bell icon and make sure it's on all, or you won't be notified of all of them, because the algorithm is the algorithm. We all know it can be kind of a jerk sometimes. But, if that is something you'd be interested in, be happy to have you. Glad to interact with anyone who chooses to leave me a comment or like or subscribe. I try to do the same for other people, and support as many people as I can, because we're all a big happy community here at TarotTube, and I try to support that where I can. So I appreciate you all. I hope you guys had a lovely St. Patrick's Day weekend, and hopefully nobody wound up with a hangover or anything too bad. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night wherever you're at. Please be safe, and hope to see you around on the channel again. Have a great night. Bye.